Hello, 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 Silver Squad. How is everybody? Let me see if I can get the light brighter on me. Y'all already know the drill. Drop a number one if you can hear me. So I know I'm not talking to just my little old self. Is that better? That's a little better. It's going to have to be kind of funky. We're kind of having to wing it tonight, y'all. We're kind of having to wing it. We'll get a little better setup for tomorrow. I hope everybody's doing well. Let me get back over to the normal chat. Let me mute myself. There we go. Hello, everybody. Y'all, welcome Miss Emily, our lovely human, our lovely friend, our lovely moderator, to the sofa. She and Indie Girl, there she is too. I appreciate you being here as well. Another lovely human, another lovely friend, another lovely moderator. I hope everybody did well today. So y'all, here's what we're going to do today. We are going to kind of recap. I have been traveling basically all day long and getting situated. So, and hey, Jenny, how's it going? It's good seeing you. I've been listening in the background to the testimony of Sarah on the stand. Let me block this. I don't know who it is. And some of it I did not get to see. It was like off and on. So what I'm going to be doing is, Tori time-stamped a lot of like the important stuff like that or whatever, and so I'm going to go back through, because essentially what I was going to do, y'all, I'm not going to lie, is I was going to rewatch the testimony and make a video for the main channel in there. And I probably still will, because I have a lot to say about it, but obviously the moment's kind of passed or whatever. So I just want to essentially, number one, watch a thing from Court TV on here that's about 20 minutes long, and it's her describing like that key testimony of what exactly happened, read some tweets, and then essentially just kind of talk about the vibe or whatever. So while everybody's here, heads up about like as far as the rest of the week goes. So I am not going to stream tomorrow, but I'll probably do something like this. I'm going to have family, and when I say in town, what I'm doing is I'm meeting family. So I'm in Charlotte tonight, or the next couple of nights in High Point for furniture market, and so I'm gonna be hanging out with some family I haven't seen. And we're going to go live when we can. We'll stream when we can. So it might be like hey, I can stream for 3 hours this morning to catch this, because we're getting into like I think the short rows, right? So there's that. So just, that's kind of how it's going to go. We're kind of winging it. We're winging it by the shoulder pads from here on out. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, Tori Wolf. I don't know if I'm, okay, can y'all hear me? I might have frozen. If you can hear me, Jenny, thank you for the super chat, and I can only imagine from what I saw. Now, also, I'm just going to say this, y'all. I'm in a hotel, so I'm on hotel Wi-Fi, so just know that. It's probably not the best connection, so we're just going to kind of work with what we got. You know what I mean? It froze up on my end for a second. I was like, no! So, I want to talk about very quickly from what I listened to and what I saw, and then we'll get into more of the other stuff. Okay, so, overall, yes, I've seen a lot of comments talking about it was kind of lackluster from the state. There was a lot of stuff that I wish he had said that he didn't, that I was kind of like, a little bit sad over. I felt like, why didn't we say this? Why, like, what's going on here? And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get out of this page right here, because what I'm doing is I'm just going to end this. I'm watching like on the channel like y'all are, and that keeps freezing up for me, so it's making me like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna watch in StreamYards over here. Okay, so one part that I was watching towards the end here, and we're not gonna watch, we're just gonna talk about it real quick. Okay, couple of things. Oh, hey Chrissy, thank you for the super chat. Couple of things, y'all. First of all, let's talk about towards the end or whatever, when they brought out that suitcase. Y'all know she was trying to make it look real hard. Yeah, she was fumbling with that thing. She was sitting there, shoulder pads activate. This is the moment we've been waiting for. She was all business casual, standing there with her facsimile, her post-its ready to be Rolodex, the whole 9 yards. Then they put those gloves on or whatever. And then like the state's getting down there, and she's like doing her little thing. And then like her attorney was like, well, let me put some gloves on too now. Is it going to be real serious up in here now? And I was just like, oh my God, come on. And then the whole concept, or not the whole concept, the whole dynamic of trying to really reiterate and I'm kind of just jumping around. I'm not even looking. I didn't barely take any notes, y'all. I really couldn't today. So I'm just going off memory and whatnot. The whole concept that he was trying to sit here and sell about, well, this is just a real big suitcase. George could have just been practically dancing around in there. Now, he didn't say that. Those are my words, right? But I was just sitting here and I was like, this whole thing about George is so small, he could have, just moved all around in there. Oh, thank you, Jeannie. You're so sweet. You don't have to do that, but I do appreciate it. Pups, I'm sorry, I missed this. Oh, I'm glad you're back. Pups have been doing good if you've been following or listening in the background. We've had a little bit of puppy drama, but they're leveling out here. They got some visitors this weekend, but I do appreciate it, Jeannie. It's good to see you. Pardon me. Oh, hey, Tori, how's it going? Tori, thank you for sending me those timestamps. I'm literally going to use them tonight and go through. I already downloaded the thing you sent me. Tori sent me some timestamps, y'all, and was like, bam, 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 bam. Because I was like, I'm just going to go through the whole thing again in a few days, maybe get it posted or whatever. Because I hate that I missed it. Okay, so first of all, her trying to look all business casual with a suitcase. Her lawyer trying to look all business casual with a suitcase, right? Then... Okay, where else do I want to talk about? Okay, well, first of all, just in general, number one, when she starts talking about how she met him, notice how Sarah would play it down, where she was just like, well, I was at the marital house, and there was, I decided I'm just tired of this. I'm going to go out on my own. I'm going across the street to sit outside and have a beer on my own. And so I started piecing this together, and I'm like, okay, anywhere she talks about, it's always like they're going to the local bar, whatever, right? And so I was like, she meets him over there. Now this part, when she said this, she was like, I was kind of surprised he wanted to go out with somebody like me. And he's like, well, what do you mean, Sarah? And she's like, well, he was, good. What does she say? He's good looking, he's funny or whatever. And she was like, well, I'm all disheveled, basically wearing my pajamas, over. And I'm just like, well, yeah, but I mean, isn't that the norm? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Leslie says, yeah, marital house, WTF, 100% like her calling it that. Also, when she was like, I know some people call different alcohol stuff different words, like bottle or whatever, but when she was like, the handle of vodka and whatnot. Okay, so and again, I'm just jumping around. If you're just joining, y'all, I'm just jumping from things that I listened to in the background and whatnot. Now, obviously, they started off today with the detective getting on the stand. Yes, it was a slow start. Yes, it took forever to get there. Yes, not with just her, but to get Sarah on the stand. It was after lunchtime, basically? Please. Hold. Oh, my gosh. So... it took a minute to get up there, right? So I felt like there was nothing really major with the detective. The big thing with the detective, the female detective, Kepsley, or I can't remember her name right now, Chelsea, was when the defense dude was trying to make it well, now you're really good. You dot your I's, you cross your T's, you do this, you do that, right? And you could tell he was working her up. Okay, to something, to da-da-da. And he's like, well, why didn't you put it in there that, you were meeting with her or whatever? And she's like, well, I really want to put that in there. You know what I'm saying or whatever? And then Sarah being just intent on, they tricked me in there. I was going for this. I felt like they were getting tricky, and her being like, Jackie says, if the suitcase zips, you can't quit it. We might have that moment in this, y'all. You saw the thumbnail. Because here's my thing. After hearing today and seeing some of the stuff I did, the blips and stuff, the pictures and the wounds and the stuff like that, I was like, y'all, what if she gets a sympathy thing going? Oh, hey, Book Mama, thank you. No way she walks no freaking way. I can't imagine it, but at this point, I'm like, nothing surprises me at this point. Nothing surprises me, right? Surely they saw through her. But I felt like, and jump into a comment I just saw about the state sucks. Here's my thing. I felt like they missed a lot of opportunities. I felt like you could have literally kept her on the stand for days. I'm talking days. And just going over all the inconsistencies. Because essentially this is what I got from it. And y'all help me out here, right? She's saying that George at one point, it was fun, it was dandy, it was this and that. Now, mind you, we're talking about 3 years here, okay? We're not talking about major, whatever. Which, granted, I mean, I get it. It is what it is. But to me, I'm just sitting here and I'm like, okay, this is where we're at in 3 years. Okay, please hold. First of all, just side note, when she was talking about that hide and seek thing, and she was like talking about, I went upstairs and laid down in the shower. I was like, I just wanted to, girl, get out of here. Trying to imagine her laying down in the damn tub, looking like a fool. And then, secondly, we did a 1,000-piece puzzle. And then when we were done with that, we were like, what are we going to do now? I'm like, you did a 1,000-piece puzzle after 3 bottles of wine? No, absolutely not. Absolutely. We were really upset that we couldn't find one piece. Seriously? Girl, those take sometimes months to do, right? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I get like everybody's different. They didn't do that. Okay, another thing too. I know I'm jumping around, y'all, but I'm literally just like going all over the place. Well, we got up and we decided to clean the house to have a sense of accomplishment. And I'm like, granted, yes, cleaning the house is a sense of accomplishment. But I'm like this too. I'm like, isn't there like a bazillion other things in addition to that y'all could have done? Literally, this is the vibe. You know what it gives? It gives teenagers who just, not teenagers, but like young people who just got their first apartment. And it's like, and I'm not saying anything about young people, whatever, you'll get where I'm going with this. And it's almost like, okay, well, like, here we are, the furniture, we cleaned the place up. Y'all want to smoke a joint? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what the vibe it was given. And so she was just like, okay, well, we did our thing. Mind you, it's, midday already. Okay, well, now we can go to, we've earned sitting outside and day drinking. And then when she was talking about, well, we started off with half a bottle, and it's like, let's change the verbiage here from handle and bottle to jug. Okay, let's call it what it is. Okay. They started off with a half thing. Then they go, so remember how we saw the video where we were like, is she barefoot or whatever? And so then it's like, she's like, okay, we went over and got the bottle, the jug, okay? And so then we drink that. Now, again, there's a part of it, so this is the part where it's like, okay, clearly there's an alcohol problem going on. That's, that's not good, right? I'm not judging it, but it's just like, okay, that's a whole other thing here, right? But then it's their behaviors that accompany it, and specifically Sarah's, right? Okay, so she's sitting here, and then this is where it goes to the left, okay? If we are to believe anything she said before that. All right, so when she's like, well, I was doing all these activities for George. We had earned the day drinking, so we were doing that. And then, I thought it was gonna be good. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna do this. But then he took my car and went and got another bottle that I didn't know that's what we were doing, and that changes the whole vibe. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, So you're trying to tell me that he snuck off and got that bottle, and you were then forced into drinking with him, right? Here's the thing. Okay, here, like, I don't know about y'all, but like when I used to be a drink, like, when I used to drink and hang out, be able to like, hey, let's like, drink a bottle of wine today and go whatever. If my friend's going to get another, I'm helping him drink it, okay, and it's not begrudgingly, right? Okay, so there's that. So he goes and does that, so it's all his fault at this point, right? Okay, hold on. Tracy says, and first of all, thank you, Tracy. I think the prosecutor is waiting to use some of their big parts of the case for rebuttal when they can't. Oh, probably yeah. I like that. I like that idea, that thought. Probably so. Okay, so he comes back to drinking it. Like, this is when it starts to like melt down or whatever, right? Like, okay, if he gets to a certain level of drinking, then it's like it's going to go down south or whatever. Now, so there's that part. And now, see, here's what would happen is, I would have to like put it on pause and then come back to it and then like, blip out or whatever. So I'm just jumping over the parts of my mind that are going over. So there was that part. So then when she's talking about bad, what do they call it? Bad acts, like the previous stuff or whatever. And they're showing those pictures and whatnot. Now I was not able to look at the thing at this point, but I remember seeing them elsewhere, like with the black eye and the this and that and the injuries and stuff like that. Okay. So one thing that you'll notice with Sarah one thing you'll notice with Sarah on the stand is that she will kind of do this like very passive, well, I wanted to, almost like I'm beaten down, I'm broken, I'm the victim, that kind of an energy. And now the thing she's talking about where it's like, I was in a dead sleep, and he came up and he grabbed me by my hair, and he raked my face like, oh, the carpet, and you're just like, okay, yeah, but do we have proof of this? Well, here's this little picture here. But that's when the police got called, and you both get arrested. So there's this whole thing going on here where it's like, okay, yeah, Leslie says so demure. Literally, she was giving very mindful, very demure on the stand the whole time, right? The whole time. So where I started having like, is when she's like talking about the fights that we get into, the photographs of her injury. Oh, here's where he stabbed me. Oh, here's the black eye. The black eye was rough. Right? So that's where I was like, she might be able to sway one of those jury members to be like, you know what? I could see her being afraid of him getting out of that suitcase. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the part that I was like, she might, do I think that what she did is warranted? Do I think it's the way that it went? No. I still think that she was messing around with him, whatever. Oh, here's the other part I remember. Okay, so you know how she's like trying to say, okay, I recorded that video, turned it off. That's when he's talking about, when I get out, you're done, whatever. Then I recorded it again. Now, her whole thing talking about, I recorded the video so I could show him tomorrow. I was like, what? Why on earth would you ever, and this, again, correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody's lived through this situation or knows more about it, I'm not trying to whatever. If you're in a scenario where you're somebody who is this to this degree abusive that you're being forced to take their life at some point to save your own, if the bat wasn't in my hand, it'd be in his, is how she put it basically. Why in Lord's name would you record yourself taunting them while they're begging to be let out and then show them the next day? I get she's trying to be like, well, when he was sober and blah, 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 blah. Why on earth would you do that? If there is a history, which I get some of the stuff they can't really prove, of your vibe at the house every day was, we get up, we clean the house, we get drunk, we stir stuff up, whatever it is. He goes to work, he comes back, I'm already drunk. He was probably walking into the house with Sarah being like off the rocker drunk on a daily basis, right? And I'm not trying to sit here and be like, oh, it's all her fault. It takes two to tango on some level. I think what was going on is he was like, if things were normal, she was firing things up. He was coming home to her completely drunk. And the way that if you take what she's saying and reverse it and view it as a confession, where she's like, well, if he got to be a certain point of drunk, that's when things got this way, and you'd have to basically placate him and go along with it. I think, bye, Jenny. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping in. I think it was reverse. I think it was probably he was having to do that with her, because at a certain point of drinking, she went all the way off the Richter scale. Because when you're sitting here, and let me get a sip of water here. The way in the middle of the week, she's talking about, we got up and cleaned the house, Lucas is coming over tomorrow. So basically, like, today was the day to party. And I'm like, what is it? Like Tuesday at 10 o'clock? Like, right? I can't remember the day of the week it was. It doesn't matter, even if it's a weekend. And like, oh, we sat outside for hours. And I'm like, so you're sitting outside for hours, drinking and smoking and probably deteriorating. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, it's going downhill. Whatever Sarah's on that day, whatever it was, whatever she had fixated on, it could be anything under the sun, that she was probably picking and picking and picking and picking. And so probably by the time, I think she probably told him to go get the wine. Nobody knows what she said except for those two. And one person's not around to tell their side of the story. Right? So he goes there, he gets that. Imagine her drunk in that video that we saw. Imagine that person asking you, saying, go get the next bottle of wine, you bozo. Imagine he said, no, Sarah, it's too much. You need to go to bed. You need to sleep it off, babe. What do you think was going to happen with that? What do you think was going to happen? She controlled the phone. We know that. Well, he said he didn't have a phone and blah, 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 blah. So she controlled everything in that house, right? You know she would be like, well, I'm going to call the probation officer, you know, or whatever. Okay? Whatever it was. So she had this level of control that I hope the jury can see that. That it was like, okay, because to me, I'm sorry, it's just weird. It's just weird where it's like, why was she in charge of everything? And even on the stand, and the what's his name? The state said at the end, he was like, God, George, it seems like all your free time was just spent like making activities for George. You know, I mean, almost like he was kind of like a child. Yeah. And I'm just like, does the jury see that? Thank you, TT. I'll put George in the suitcase. I mean, I thought she was going to climb in it. I thought she was going to climb in it to show, see how easy it is to get out? Her with that little skirt and those sensible flats on. I can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Yeah, Kylie says, and I totally agree, she talks about him like he's a pet, 100%. And I think surely the jury saw that, right? Anybody would, right? It was so bizarre to hear her on the stand talking about him years later in this way, where me, I did this, I did that, blah, 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 blah. Okay, remember, we're jumping around here, y'all. Remember when she was talking about going to the bar with him, and because she was like, I came out and I was like, where is he? And the guy's like, well, he left. And she's like, oh, because I talked to a dude. It sounded like where she was going is she asked a dude for a cigarette. If you've ever been in a bar, you already know 100% you have met the Sarah of the bar. You already know who this is. Okay, you've interacted with them. Hey, could they get you a free drink? They're kind of hard up right now. My kid's coming over tomorrow. I can already hear it now. I can already hear it. Okay, she was asking for a cigarette, whatever, right? He gets upset. Now, who we don't know. We don't know if they're going to put the bar guy on the phone. We don't know this information, right? It could have been that. He could have been pissy. Who knows? I can see her totally trying to make him jealous. Hold on, Chrissy says, please hold. It ran away. Please hold. First of all, thank you, Chrissy. Because I'm a DV star, and I can tell you that my family told me to start recording him, but 9 times out of 10 I was too afraid to try anything. And see, Chrissy, you bring up a good point. Because... And we've seen, like, if you've been on TikTok and you see people like recording their spouse, like whichever way of doing some crazy next level stuff or whatever, trying to get that, and then it's getting like upset. Imagine, and where Chrissy's talking about like I was too scared or whatever. That's the thing. Wait, hold on, let me move this. There's this level of fear there, and again, I haven't gone through that, so I'm not trying to sound like I have in this particular instance, like of being in a DV situation, being afraid or whatever, right? And that level of things. So I don't want to like try and take somebody's story away or whatever. Be like, well, here's my opinion. I haven't been there, so I can't say. From what I have seen from afar, and things of this nature, there's just more of a fear. I don't see people in these scenarios taunting their abuser. And then surely saying, I was going to show him the next day. I love how, jumping around again, I love how the prosecutor was like, well, he said something to the degree of like, well, you're strong enough to flip the suitcase around, right? I did. She could not say yes or no. Even when her attorney was questioning her on some things, she got like very, not combative with him, but was like a little bit pushbacky on him a couple of times. And I'm sitting here thinking like, girl, you better saddle up for the prosecution. Hold on. Thank you, Elaine. Entertaining, babysitting Tyler George must have been hard work when he terrifies you. Exactly. Renee, thank you. I was waiting for that skirt to split in the back. I know. She wanted to, too. She wanted to. And Paula says, and thank you, Paula, I desperately want the prosecutor to ask her why she's too scared to unzip him that night, but not the next morning when she was aghast. Excellent point. And I think what Sarah would have said if he asked her that, she would have tried to play it off like this. Well, he was sober. It was a different George. It was a different George. But what's going to happen after you, pardon me. Okay, so you get sober George, right? Well, what happens when y'all start drinking at 12 o'clock that day and he gets to drunk George and then sees that? And also, remember when the prosecutor was like, do you not pick your phone up first thing in the morning? I think everybody in this, except for Sarah, is shocked that she didn't see the videos on her phone and turn the phone into the cops. It's like that level of oblivion that you're just like, Because again, I'm like, if you were documenting this and you drink and get messy like that, don't you think that like the first thing you would do is be like, okay, well, let me see what I did last night. Oh, okay, last night was, a little bit of a tizzy. I think George is going to be kind of pissed this morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like the first thing you would do. And then certainly to be brazen enough to sit, and the jury wanted to fall out a few times. When they were sitting in there, listening to her talking in that interview, talking about, look at my phone, look at my phone, look at my phone. And then when they played the evidence on the phone, that jury was falling out. That jury fell out. Right there. You heard that woman today when he's like, we might go later. He's like, I know number whoever over there's got to call her kid or her whoever. And he's like, you want to run off? She's like, I've got this on lockdown. Please. I've got after school care. You name it. We are free. You need me to stay till midnight? Fine. Okay. Give me the bathroom and some damn popcorn. I am here for every minute of this ish show, right? I'm sorry. How can you not? Okay. How can you not? Please hold. Yeah, Julie says, but we're having a good time. Thanks, Laura, when the prosecutor's talking about, but it was a good day. It was a good day. What about this? And also when he's talking about, but you lied. And then she's trying to play that off like, well, I did, and I was in and out on this part, but I know enough that I heard of him calling her out like, well, you lied. And her trying to play that off, right? Pardon me. Again, ballsy as hell getting up there on that stand. You got to give that to her, okay? I would have cowered, right? I would have cowered. Couldn't have given me good, hard-earned money to do that, right? I mean... So, yeah. So then as far as what I heard of the state, yes, the state's very dry, but I also think that the state is going with this whole narrative, and somebody said it earlier about what he might be saving some of the stuff, and I agree. I think that the state also is kind of like, not like, we don't have to do anything, but almost like, these are the elements that we're proving. Here they are. It's very black and white. Enough said. Renee says, I love how she told herself when he stabbed her, in the leg. And she said, I had to come up with a story, so I said we were playing swords. Oh, I missed that part, Renee. That's good. Yeah, so they definitely prove that she lies a lot. And I think even like with the jury, you can watch, and this is what I think will be her downfall. Again, unless you have somebody who has like a complete sympathy of like, they just feel sorry for her, and I think that's what she's banking on. But I also think that in her world, she really does think that she can sit here and say, hey, he did A, B, and C. And I have no doubt, like, there's documented proof, like, yes, they had a tumultuous relationship. But in Sarah's grandiose way, it's not what she was thinking it is, right? It's not as whatever. So I think the state is just very much like, we just have A, B, and C to prove, and like we've proved it 10,000 times. Here it is. Now Sarah's been getting these little wins, right? Them being able to show all those pictures, them being able to like the judge coming back saying like, yep, they did the overt act. We can go with that testimony. He's given her everything, and remember, every time they come in there, he's talking about, you like your attorney, you like their strategy. Now Sarah, he changed his strategy up a little bit here. Are you okay with that? Yep. Doesn't mean that she won't try and come back on it. Please hold. Okay, let me go back up here because I missed this. Lily, thank you. First of all, priceless when the prosecutor was talking about her hitting George with a bat. She said, would you like me to show you? Oh my God, really? Oh yeah, she was sassy a couple of times. I heard her like about something with a suitcase, and she was like, well, but it's this or whatever. They're going to see that part to her. They're going to see, I just feel like she's very transparent. I feel like you can see exactly what it is. Blair, thank you. Your cerebral content is giving me life. Miss excellent. Everything would give me. I mean, honestly, I appreciate it. This case is so incredibly unique. And again, one thing which he was talking. Well, still let's jump around. When they were talking about like, okay, him getting in the suitcase, the weight and all that. He's 103 pounds. Then when she was like, oh, I was like 98 pounds. I'm just like, my God. I just think that they probably just hung out and drunk a lot. I just think it was a miserable relationship. When she said she was married to Brian for what, 11 or 13 years, I was like, what? Mind you, they had a kid together, so there's that. But I mean, I was like, that bless that man's heart. Can you imagine? But see, then it makes you wonder. Oh, wait, Lynn says, hold on 1 second, let me read this. Lynn, thank you. Did anyone else did whatever the prosecutors say to her knows when? I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I'll have to see if anybody else knows that, but I appreciate it. Um, People are getting less time. There's going to be some people that are going to feel bad. I mean, she got up there, and I mean, again, I was in and out, but I'll have to listen to it again. If you hadn't watched this like we have, I could see her getting a sympathetic thing on the jury. Please hold. Please hold. Oh, Shayna, thank you. Why did Sarah ask about? Oh yeah, let's talk about that. The corn, if she also, not just George, looked at it on her phone, never came back up, felt like that's going to come back at some point. Also asking if she's looking at her phone first thing in the morning. Slow Morrison, thank you. The fact that she admitted to not letting him out and beating him with a baseball bat, she tortured poor George. Maybe she did it. Oh, I appreciate it. Okay, the corn thing on the phone, that was another thing where she was like, I mean, number one, she only has access to the phone. Some of the stuff that she's claiming George was doing on the phone, I'm like, that's very brave of him to do that on a phone that she has control over. You know what I'm saying? It's like the corn stuff. I'm like, okay, so if he's looking, maybe he was, I don't know. But when she was like, well, I told him, like, you're basically like stealing from an experience with another person, and I consider it cheating. And that's in any relationship, anyone's going to have whatever kind of situation going on. But I'm just like, with her, I'm like, girl, at this point, you should be lucky that he's not out there trying to, like, number one, he's still with you, right? I mean, come on, like, it's seriously, it might have been, I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, it was probably her watching it, right? I'm like, I mean, when did he have time to do this? And when she was like this, when she was like, oh, he was always around me, I wanted to get away, like, I would go upstairs, I would do this. Really, Sarah? And maybe he was jealous. I don't know them, right? But I could 100% see her being the person that did that. Or going both ways. Again, her getting up there and trying to just really make it out like she was the victim of the scenario. I mean, I was like, Here, so let me say this while we got more people in here. So I will not be streaming tomorrow. So I've gone to meet family in Charlotte and High Point, and so I'm going to be like hanging out, doing that. I'm going to be listening in the background. We'll probably do a live tomorrow night, and then maybe Thursday I'm going to stream in the morning. So the next few days and like into the, next week or whatever, our first part till next Tuesday, I'm going to be streaming when I can, you know what I'm saying? So it'll kind of be like this where it might be last minute and we join up and like do, this kind of live chat or whatever. So I'll do it as I can, but just to let y'all know. So there's that. I'm going to try to go through and make like a full video of like a reaction for the main channel, like an edited one of Sarah's testimony, some of the key points, because I definitely want to watch it again. And Tori was sweet. She sent me a whole little like a time log of like whatever the moments are. And so there's that. So I'll try and do that. So there's that. Okay, then, wait, hold on, please hold. D says, true to form, you give Sarah an inch and she takes 200 miles. It was way too much. Plus, she was afraid of him getting out of the suitcase. You don't leave this up so you can get out. That's the thing, and I agree, D. Her contradicting stuff, if you watch the thing, the interviews, the interrogations, even though she's saying, I lied because, I was scared because, okay, you had every chance in the world. I mean, at this point, it's like, well, he's dead. You know what I'm saying? Like at this point, like, what are you trying to talk about? That would be the time. And I get, you could be like, okay, I think I might be in trouble or whatever. I mean, it is what it is. So I don't know. I don't know, y'all. It had me. I pulled over a couple of times, y'all. Standing at Chick-fil-A, thing in my ear, just staring off into space. Can I help you? No. I just want to stand here and listen to the trial. Hold on 1 second, please. And the other thing too, she was in such control of this scenario, and it was this horrible. Why didn't she just get rid of him? I mean, she could have. Oh, thanks, Smooth, for being a member for a month, and Sarah can't admit fault. It's like her own children. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like that's surely the jury saw this, where she can't admit. Excellent point and way to say that. She can't admit any wrongdoing. Right? Like, that's the part that will get her. Yes, she admitted to lying, but it was like there's so many other options. And again, with the whole thing of like, oh, it was this, that, and the other, it's not like she was dependent on him. I mean, it sounds like per her words, he pays a bill here and there. Oh, wait, and time out. Didn't y'all love it? This is total petty side note. And then I think the Patreon chat that I was able to chat today, when he said this, the state was like, and how much did you weigh during the, when this happened? She's like, 98 pounds. And he's like, and you've gained weight since. And, she was like, I said this chat, it's like, you're getting 20 in a Samsonite when I get out of here, buddy. He put her on front. The state has this, like, very dry, like, and you've gained weight since, right? Okay. Just checking so that we can talk about the blood alcohol stuff. But you've gained, right, Sarah? Say yes or no. It's yes or no. Okay, right? Like, he's here for it. He's like, girl, nope. And honestly, it's not often like you see a dude who's like can deliver that quick, right? That's like one thing that's funny about him, where it's just like for a guy, I know that sounds funny, like he is, he's very quick. You know what I'm saying? Very quick. Yeah, he definitely has Andy Cohen's School of Snark. 98 did sound very thin, right? I'm talking about the state prosecutor. The suitcase, and the fact that the suitcase has been in that damn room the whole time. I mean, come on. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, she looks much better. Now, she looks healthy. When you look at her in the interview, she looked very unhealthy. I mean, when she would do her arm, you could just see where it was like, I mean, she was, struggling. You know what I'm saying? And I imagine George was there too, right? I think they were both, health-wise struggling. Now, to me, I think she looks appropriate, if that makes sense. Like, she looks like she eats 3 meals a day. She looks very healthy. And honestly, it's probably, think about this, she's been in there for 5 years. It's probably the healthiest she's been. She might have a good experience, or how do you say it? Like, it might be one reason why she's kind of like, playing, like, testing the waters with whatever. It's probably the healthiest and all that, and maybe the best she's felt in a while, I would imagine. Because she had to feel like crap, right? If you're throwing back that amount of wine and your body's used to it, I mean, that's just like, my heart aches to think of that. I'm like, oh my God, thank you, Wicked. So she's probably like, hey, I'm doing much better in here, right? I mean, obviously she doesn't want to be in there, anybody would, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, Dee says Sarah knew all the answers to her. Oh, wait, sorry. Dee says Sarah knew all the answers to her attorney's questions. Oh, 100%. They definitely met. They went over these questions. It's just what they do. I mean, when the state has people come up, they check in with these people and are like, hey, I just want to refresh your memory. I want to do this. That's kind of where it gets dicey, to me, in my opinion. Hold on 1 second. Renee says, well, first of all, thank you, Renee. Let's take a minute to recognize there is cheap wine called Barefoot Chardonnay. I'm not sure Sarah is the mascot they were looking for. Was that what they were drinking, was the Barefoot Chardonnay? It's going to be a barefoot night. Is that why she was like, I had to go outside barefoot? Maybe it was like an inside joke or something. Hold on, just got here. Did you see Joel surviving the Survivor? So Sarah's girlfriend was sitting behind him. I didn't see that at all. So does she have a little girlfriend now? And if so, are they on the outside? Do you mean? She was storm food. Wow, I'm just reading your things here. It was Woodbridge wine. Woodbridge wine, not barefoot. Okay, Woodbridge, not barefoot. Um, so does she have a girlfriend that's coming to watch the trial? Maybe that's what's going on. I saw that thing about her with that piece of paper with the battered spouse thing on the paper. Oh, she met her in jail, and she is the woman on the outs now. She might have her doing stuff for her. Pardon me. But now the girlfriend's in the courtroom. Was there any shenanigans in the courtroom today like they did yesterday where they had to throw the person out? Barefoot missed a hell of a good time. I'm just reading your stuff here. Oh god, Twin Flames. Oh my gosh, that's a documentary. Can you imagine if there were Twin Flames on top of it? I think so. I mean, so here's my thing. I still think they're going to find her guilty. However, I'm if they're like, oh, a hung jury or whatever, I'm going to be like, yeah, I could. I doesn't surprise. Nothing surprises me, right? Especially with the sympathy vote. Um, but I personally think she's absolutely guilty. I would love to see the look on her face when they say that, and then he sentences her, and we will, right? Lori, thank you, Lori. I was talking to a patient yesterday about a claustrophobia, and he said, "I'll be fine as long as you don't put me in a suitcase." It's like, well, that's happened before there. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'll go through the inmate notes. Are they on the Orange County site? Yeah, Sandy says so cool how every time someone sneezes, the judge says "bless you." I do think that dynamic is really cool too. He really makes sure to say that, which I think is I really like the judge. He's so friendly and so cordial, and I mean he's very handsome. He's very professional. I mean this we've watched him for 5 years, right? I just think he's really nice. He seems very fair. I think he's ruled in Sarah's favor a lot, right? A lot. And so I feel like he's given her every chance. Please hold. Yeah, she did seem a little bit flustered on the stand, which I mean, I can get that. But she did seem like, I mean, it is what it is. I don't think Sarah wants to be called out by anybody at all. And, Christine, thank you. Her pictures and, hold on, her stories and pictures give me PTSD. Growing up, my mom had a boyfriend that would break TV. Sarah is guilty of unintentionally killing. Yeah, I think that, oh, I'm glad you did too, me. I don't know why YouTube does that. Again, I feel like Sarah would hit, the best thing she could have done was taken that 15 years manslaughter, right? Because that's essentially what. So, in my opinion, what Sarah is saying, she is not intentional, not intentional. And again, without me knowing the dynamics of it and all this, I'm almost like, okay, it's almost like you're describing involuntary manslaughter, like you did an accident that somebody lost their life in. And so, you see what I'm saying? But it's like she didn't even want to take that. I think she's really banking on someone listening to her story and going with I think that she felt like if I show you what's in this phone, if I show you what's in this phone, I'm going to be able to prove my case. And if some of the dynamics have been different, she very well might have been able to. But, hmm hmm well, one thing, somebody just said that went by though about the trial being a letdown after all these years. One thing that has surprised me with this is how fast it's gone. Okay, like once now that we're here, it's like boom, 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 boom. Witness, and I'm just like they barely questioned the detective about that 2 hour interrogation and all the other stuff. To me, in a normal trial, I was like, I expected her to be on the stand for days, breaking that whole thing down. I think the state is just very much like, here is basically the electronic evidence. It is what it is. These are the elements we need. Case closed. You can say what you want to say. And almost like this, I almost feel like also a tactic of the state, the prosecutor, whoever we're going to call him, is to just let Sarah talk and hang herself. Not literally, but you know what I'm saying. It's almost like just let her get up there and do her own damage. You know what I'm saying? They're like, we're going to put the audio, the video, all the electronic evidence we have, we'll put it up here, and then just let her get up there, and she'll show them. I mean, her through her personality, and people will see her. Okay, now y'all, help me out here. So, where did we end off today with it? Were they completely done with her, or is she getting back on the stand in the morning? Or are we on to the doctors? Because this isn't like Dr. Harper or somebody tomorrow or something. Or are we going back to Sarah? And yes, she did. To the person who just made the comment about her demeanor, I agree. About it being cold. Yeah, I agree. She's not a warm person, and I get some people aren't, and she's just not. And in this scenario, there needs to be it's not even that she's not warm, it's that she's missing, there's something that's missing. I don't know if it's a soul, but you know what I'm saying? There's something there that's not there. Well, let me rephrase that. There's something that needs to be there that's not there. And I think that comes through in her dealings with, especially up there in the stand. Wampo, yes. Wampo says prosecution called her out on infantilizing George. 100%. 100%. And that's the other part, too. When you want to talk about like the thing that's missing with her, it's like that's in place of it, where she's up here talking about this dude like he's 3 years old. And this whole thing of like, well, I got the things, to do, to create the puzzles and the this, and it's even the activities. It's just like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, it's weird. It's just weird. I mean, I know I keep saying that, but it's weird sounding. And I think it's weird sounding because I think it's not true. I think those little games and activities they did is like a drunken idea of hers. That like out of the blue one day she's like, let's go get a puzzle. You know what I mean? And it was like, okay, you wanna draw? He probably had to follow her around that damn house. This is my other thing too. Yeah. Tag, you're it. Damn 900 square foot townhome talking about let's play hide and seek inside. Honestly, well, I went upstairs to the shower. I was waiting for him to come find me. I mean, how many hiding spots are there? You know what I'm saying? For two grown adults. How many spots are there? Well, I came downstairs and he was getting in the suitcase. Okay. It's just, it doesn't even make sense. That whole part doesn't even make sense. Well, so then we were laughing that he could fit in it. We were laughing. It was funny. We kept talking about how I can't believe you can fit in it and move around like that. What? I don't think they played hide and seek. I think she literally made that up. At this point, I think she literally made that up. Have you done it before? Well, a couple of times. Okay. Tori brings up an amazing point. Tori says, "Who was going to seek if you both ran to hide?" Thank you. It doesn't even make sense. That was the whole thing too. It was like she's up in the damn shower looking like a damn fool, laying down. I got cold just sitting in the shower. I thought you were up there in like this has been very murky. Was she in the shower naked, waiting for him to come on up there to do booty call time, or was she just laying in the shower clothed, playing hide and seek, and then got cold? Because she makes it sound like in one story she's saying she thought she was going to come up there and they were going to do it. Then it's I was laying down. Today is I was laying down playing hide and seek. Well, he ran to go hide somewhere too. Didn't y'all see each other? So he said, "Tag, you're it." You just went in opposite directions without even questioning anything. She just bolted upstairs and ran to the shower. To the point where it's like, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Well, I'll come downstairs. Oh, he's trying to get in the suitcase. No. That sounds so ridiculous. Y'all know that new show they got out, where that hide and seek show? I think of her every damn time they show it. People talking about they run a warehouse, people are hiding in the damn pipes and stuff. I'm just like, that's what she makes it out like. Hold on, Forever Wander, thanks for being a member. Says Dr. Barry had good reactions today. Oh, I bet so. I need to go watch her thing. Yeah, didn't bump into each other. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, I pray the jury sees through that. I can't wait till his family speaks out. I heard the part where they were like, they're in the front row, but they don't want to talk right now, which I get. Yeah, because again, it's like, no matter what, it's like, this is his family. You know what I mean? So it's like, they're listening to the woman who, killed him, probably put everyone through living hell in the process. I didn't know two of his kids were the ages they were when they were talking about him. And I can't remember them now, but I just remember when they brought that up where I was like, oh, okay, I thought that I didn't know they were like grown-ups. Yeah, Danielle says, I think someone might buy into her DV story. It's honestly, I mean, I could see it happening. Yeah, right. Kath says, she said, the house is so small she can't get away from him, but also we play his hide and seek. And the way she's talking about, he always wants me around or to keep an eye on me. You control the damn phone. What's he going to do? That's what doesn't make it's her story doesn't add up, but also she lives in blurry land. Okay, this is the same person that recorded the crime and had no recollection and begged the cops to look at the evidence on her phone. You know their mouths had to hit the damn floor when they were like, okay, so is this a joke? Like, is this some kind of like a YouTube, like practical joke thing? Because we saw the evidence. Yeah, you're right, it's damning, but like not in the way you're thinking, okay? Like the opposite of that, okay? Like that's the part that's just like, they're please God, let the jury go speak publicly after this. I want to hear raw, legit reactions when they saw in that interview the cops play that video. What they were looking at. They had to be like, you heard some lip smacking, some. I'm getting paid $20 a day for this right here. Are you kidding? How long is this going to take? How long is this going to take? Smog says, is she being questioned tomorrow? I don't know. I can't tell. Because I listened to the end of it. From what I understand, the doctors are going to start tomorrow. Because, of course, the defense is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this person's going to be late, and this person's going to do this, and now we want this person over here, and blah. Her testimony is done. She's not going to walk. They can recall her. Doing some experts tomorrow. So, yeah. So, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. That's all we can do. She was like, yeah, you can imagine what she was like when she's getting to her. She's probably getting to her unit right about now, talking about, guys, we're almost home free. We're almost home free. Really, I did great on the stand today. Tina, can you come over? I've got post-its. She's got staff at the damn unit. She's got staff in there. 3 honey buns. I've got about 2 hours of filing to do tonight. Okay, cool. You gonna get the facsimiles? Okay, cool. You know, yeah, she's 100% living out her 9 to 5 thing. 100% living out 9 to 5. Yeah, Miss Independent says she needs to call Daryl Burke for advice. 100%. Yeah, can you imagine? Smog says she says to the girls that she's given the state of plea deal. Can you imagine if she came back and was like, okay, I'm good with the plea deal, which I think is too late. I think they'd be like, sorry, we've absolutely not. Oh, thanks, Slug of the Irish, for being a member, and thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, she's back. She's back there with her flats kicked up in their little unit. She's like, yep, I can smell the wood bridge from here. She was like, I'm out of here, girls. I'm out of here. Oh yeah, Regina says pretending not to hear the prosecution's questions. Oh wait, let's talk about this. Okay, remember the part where she was like, "Am I allowed to cuss?" Well, fiddlesticks. Well then, next time I tune in, I mean, she's taught F this, C that, slut this, I mean, all this stuff, right? And I'm just like, well, my God. She was doing that for shock value. He grabbed my hair and raked it across the thing and called me a fiddle sticking you know what. And I'm just like, she is trying to make the jury feel uncomfortable. Yeah, she's talking about, I've never said much more than fiddlesticks. Y'all okay with this? And I mean, I'm talking about a sailor came right on out of that mouth. I was like, well, she got comfortable with that real damn quick. Those words just fell right off those lips, okay? I mean, because she yelled them at George every damn night. She did. Again, I'm not trying to say he wasn't like, there wasn't something going back and forth, or whatever, but he's not here to tell his side of the story. And honestly, I feel like we would hear it through the family. The family might be like, yeah, he beat the hell out of her. Pardon me. You never know. I mean, I definitely think they probably had abuse back and forth, but it's one of those things where I'm like, and I'm not trying to say, well, she might have like pushed him to it. I mean, that's never the case, right? But it's like, I think she was the instigator. I could see her being at the bar, flirting with a dude to get a cigarette or a drink, him seeing it, being like, okay, well, I'm leaving. You got him to do your stuff, right? And then her being like, well, I walked home. And then he barged the door in, the whole thing. Again, I think what took place is they lived in a miserable relationship. They met up. They both had these issues going on. She's talking about, I'm in a divorce. She's living off Brian. She's going next door in her pajamas to the bar. They meet up. They have all this stuff going on. And this tumultuous relationship happens. And it goes and it goes and it goes. And they live in this bubble that works for them. It's incredibly toxic to everyone watching it around them. Everyone knows they don't need to be together. She's not able to sit here and go, pick up the kid. Brian's having to check on her. Are you going to even show up to get the kid today? His family talk about, you need to get away from her. Sarah, you need help. It's like everyone around them could see this crash course, and it was going to be something, right? Mind you, this is a very specific thing that's like, you can't really, like lightning can't strike twice, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very specific how this went down. But nonetheless, something along these lines was going to happen eventually. Do I think that she set out with a plot to get the suitcase and kill him? No. Yes, I think that it probably crossed her mind and she threatened people around her, like, I'll get rid of him. Oh, I'll be better without him. I think that she probably talked like that all the time. And they probably would be much better without each other, right? Not killing each other. And I think that this just culminated in it. And because of that, because it's not fair to Sarah, I didn't do it intentionally. That kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? She shouldn't be held accountable. It's almost like, well, that's not fair. I didn't mean to. Well, we get it, right? This isn't first degree. You went to Walmart on camera, bought the Samsonite that morning. We get it. But she can't admit to that. And then you have her whole personality disorder in of where whatever it is, where she's like, I can't admit to wrong. I can't, whatever, right? So, yeah. And I think that's what happened. It's just a messy situation. Grace says her child has nothing to do with her now, and probably good for him. The way she brings the kid up as a pawn to use at times, you know that she did this on a normal basis, right? Period. How many times was the kid sitting at school talking about mom didn't show up, dad? Oh, how the dog. Okay, so hold on, let me get over here. So the dog thing. Somebody just made a comment on the dogs. Where she's like, we put the gate up because the one's blind. He does this, and George would threaten to, leave the door open, and its body would be out in the road, and this, that, and the other. And there's no telling what they said to each other. There's no telling what they said to each other. She makes it out like she didn't say these horrible things. I'm like, girl, just in an 11-minute video, we heard the things you said to him. And that was probably like PG-13. And this whole thing of like, well, I had a captive audience, I could tell him the way he made me feel. That's the kind of stuff you say in a victim impact statement when they're going away for life. Not when they're in the damn suitcase downstairs with their hands sticking out and you're like, well, I guess I'll go up to sleep bed now. I'll show them the video in the morning. No, absolutely not. BB, thank you first of all, BB. BB says my WTF moment was when she was describing herself hitting him with the bat and yelling, "Stop doing this to me," as he was trapped in the suitcase. Oh, I missed that part. I can't wait to see this, y'all. And Renee, thank you. Says, I think she wants it to look easy to open the suitcase. That way she can have a case that I thought he could get out. She wants to look hard to open. Am I wrong? Yeah, so I'm going back now and thinking because I saw bits and pieces of that, and to me, they were fumbling with it. She got nervous around that suitcase. So I'm going like side rails here for a second. What was also interesting is the times that she didn't try and do any kind of like victimization acting, right? Because it would have been worse. Like, imagine if she broke down out of the suitcase. Now she got excited when they pulled those bottles of wine out. She got excited for that, right? She was like, "Come on now, let's clean them puppets out." But I mean, again, all the stuff that she's saying that George said and did, I just think it went back and forth. Do I think he probably said some of that stuff? Probably so, right? I mean, just think about like have you ever? I just remember this when she was like, "If any of you have ever been in love so much," and I'm like, "No, do not say that. Do not say that, girl." If a 3-year relationship that she controls the money and everything, and you're talking about he's getting me out of a dead sleep, scraping my face across the thing, I'm going to do this and this and show him the next day. Don't know. LA says she rehearsed this for 4 years. 100%. I'm telling you, she's had all this time to go over this stuff. That's why when she finally got the box of evidence, she's like, "Honey, I already got my story down. I don't even need to look at that." Right? She's been figuring this out. She's like, "I've got this on lockdown." Thanks, Vicky. Hey, Tori. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get back up here to read this one. This one's good. Hold on, please hold. I'm just kind of reading your comments. Hold on, let me get back up to this one. Where'd it go? Oh, I'm going to miss it. Hold on. Wait, here it is. I also think so. Okay. I think it says Moki or Makey. I can't see with my screen very good. I also think because she was so resentful that when she would get drunk, it would come out like true serum, you know. But then she can't be honest. She is entirely incapable of being. Yeah, I agree. 100%. 100%. Yeah, Jello says he just so happens to threaten her with the cameras off. 100. You know the jury was like, uh huh. She's like, well, I started documenting it. I just happened to forget to document that part. No, Sarah. Absolutely not. We'll have to see. I'm dying to see what the doctors say. Especially state's. It's okay. So I think the state's doctor is going to get up there tomorrow, and then her doctor is going to get up there Thursday if everything goes whatever. And then they're just going to start getting random people up there, and I think the random people are going to probably paint a horrible picture of her, as they all have. Marcy says, and hello, Marcy. Pardon me, Marcy says, anybody talked about... I'm sorry, excuse me. Marcy says, if anyone said that about my dogs just once, either them or me and the dogs would be out that door so fast. Oh, I know. She was like, well, he would actually leave the door open. And again, it's just like, but you're not describing a scenario that you're dependent on this man for anything at all. You're still living off of Brian. You're still going over there. You know what I mean? It's like... I pray the jury sees through her BS. Defense is something about recalling people and impeaching them. Oh my god. Fox 35 is full of trolls. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, Lotus mentions the mouse in the bedroom. They had pets all over this house, right? And the way she talks about this is the thing. You can tell that they or she had this very specific routine. And George would join in on it when he was either off work or out of work. Because remember, he's on probation. And I feel like a part that I came in today listening was the state basically trying to call her out on, yeah, you probably messed with him in that way, right? It was almost like Sarah, they would stay up till God knows what hours. Remember whatever day it was on the thing where she was talking about, well, we finished this and that, and then we went upstairs and watched movies. And I'm like, movies? You have time to do that? Like all this stuff, you have time to go up and watch multiple movies? Just like when she was talking about the thing, we did a 1,000-piece puzzle. There's one piece missing. We thought that was really frustrating. I'm like, you did a 1,000-piece puzzle in one evening? And not even just one evening, but like a small section of time in the evening after drinking all that, But I think they stay up super late, just drinking and fighting. And I think that's what they do. And she made up all these activities, and they probably do them to some degree, but it's probably like she gets up and she's like, we're going to clean the house and feed the mouse, or whatever it is they do. Well, that could be 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You know what I'm saying? And she gets up there and does these bizarre little things, probably doesn't take that long. And then it's like, okay, well, I earned this. I deserve this. Where's the jug of wine? And then the day begins. Now, if George is at work, she's probably sauced by the time he shows up. And so it begins this evening. Yeah, LA says she made it seem like she was George's caretaker. Absolutely. 100% she did. There's no telling what the son saw. You heard his family member talk about, I want my daughter over there. George's family, whoever she was texting with, Mo or whatever his name was. I heard over at Jumpsuit Pablo that Sarah stole 64 slices of cheese in jail and got in trouble. 100% wouldn't surprise me. I mean, come on, what kind of cheese are we talking about, though? I mean, come on, right? It might be worth it. Whatever it is, like 3 days in the hole, okay. You know it wasn't. It's not good if it was jail cheese, but nonetheless. How would you keep that? It was in a report. My God. Yeah, laying until bed is no, it's not busy. I just think that was her day. And she manipulated and lived off of Brian. She manipulated and lived off of George. And that's just what she did. And they just partied and drank and smoked, and that was it. Jay says it pairs well with prison wine. And two, at the end of the day, I think she loves this attention. And that overrides a lot of stuff and clouds her judgment. Also she has sat in jail and looked over this and looked over the. It's her world, so she doesn't see it, and it's also filtered through her mindset. So she's not. It's like, how do you say that you can't see the forest of the trees of the forest, whatever. It's almost like that, right? Oh, Whit, thank you first of all. Whit says Paul today was insane. How do you think Mr. J's cross went? Also, what did she say to Brian when she called that night? Thought they found out. I don't. So does anybody know? Did she say something to Brian that night? And yeah, I thought his cross was kind of weak. I just thought, I think there was 10,000 things that he could have asked her and gone on about. But I think that he's basically relying on that video evidence and the components that he has to prove, and almost like, well, here it is. And some people also earlier in this chat mentioned that they think that he's going to basically come back on some things to, I forget what you call it, and that could be the case. I think some of it is just they feel like it's an open and shut case. I'm not trying to say they're not doing their job, but it's almost like, here's the components, here's the video, there you go. So, excuse me. Yeah, so here's what we're going to do, because I'm passing out now. I've been like everywhere today. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to wind it up for tonight. So I'll go through and make watch it again, like make a video for the main channel or whatever. I'm not going to stream tomorrow, but I'll be listening, and we'll probably do a vibe like this at some point of, hey, let's go, let's stream, let's talk about it, whatever. And so that's it. So, and then depending on, I think I'll be able to stream some on Thursday morning. So there's that. So that being said, y'all, this is a major day. So I'm going to go back and watch it, and we'll reconvene or whatever another time. So that is it. I do appreciate y'all. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Indy. Thank you, Tori, for holding it down tonight, especially such last minute. I didn't know when I was going to get here and get all settled and all that. So literally 30 minutes before I was like, okay, we're going to go live. So that's it. I will see y'all at some place tomorrow at some time. I don't know when, and we'll talk about it. And that's it. And hopefully bring George's truth to the surface, and Sarah can go where she needs to go. So I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you, Sofa Squad.